The penalty hit the back of the net, not the right one. Gabriel Magalhães, one of the most dominant defenders in world football, one of the best players on the pitch across 120 minutes of football, stood alone in the middle of a Munich stadium as Paris Saint-Germain players sprinted past him in every direction, screaming, jumping and embracing each other. The Champions League trophy was gone. Arsenal had been so close, so painfully, heartbreakingly close. And in that single moment, everything that the club had built under Mikel Arteta, every piece of progress, every sacrifice, every long night of work on the training ground came crashing down into one image. Gabriel standing alone, head down, the weight of an entire fan base on his shoulders. But here is what made that moment even more remarkable. While PSG celebrated around him, one man walked in the opposite direction, not toward the trophy, not toward the supporters, not toward the cameras. Marquinhos, the PSG captain, the leader of the team that had just become champions of Europe, turned away from all of it and walked straight toward Gabriel. He embraced him. He spoke to him. He stayed with him. That image went around the world within minutes, and a day later, Gabriel sent Marquinhos a private message thanking him for that moment. Marquinhos has since said, and these are the facts as they stand, that he told Gabriel it had been his greatest victory that night. Not the trophy, not the celebrations, the hug. That is where we begin, because everything that is happening at Arsenal this summer starts from that moment in Munich. Arsenal won the Premier League this season. After 22 long years, the title returned to North London. That is confirmed, that is real, and it is genuinely historic. But the Champions League final defeat to Paris Saint-Germain on penalties tells a deeper story about where this squad currently stands. The reality for the club is that they pushed the best attacking side in the competition all the way to a shootout. They defended magnificently. Gabriel was arguably the best player on the pitch. But when it came to the moments that required a clinical, decisive, match-winning quality in attack, the gaps were exposed. The evidence suggests that Arsenal's defensive structure and midfield efficiency are already at elite European level. What is now clear is that the front line is the area that needs to be addressed if this club wants to take the next step and actually lift the Champions League trophy. That is the context for everything happening in this transfer window. Every signing being discussed, every sale being considered, every decision being made connects directly back to that night in Munich. If you want deeper analysis on stories like this, if you want the full picture on what Arsenal are doing this summer and why, hit that subscribe button right now. This channel breaks down every layer of what is happening at Arsenal, and this summer is going to be one of the most important in the club's modern history. Do not miss a single update. Let us go through every major story one by one, clearly separating what is confirmed from what remains a rumour. Gabriel Martinelli and the record transfer sales. The situation is straightforward but significant. Arsenal's current record transfer sale is Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain's move to Liverpool, which happened in 2017 for £35 million. That record has stood for close to 9 years. The likes of Alex Iwobi and Folarin Balogun came close to breaking it, but neither managed to surpass Oxlade-Chamberlain's fee. This summer, that record could finally be broken, and the evidence suggests it could be broken more than once. Gabriel Martinelli is one of the players at the centre of this conversation. The 25-year-old Brazilian posted an emotional end-of-season message on social media at the conclusion of the campaign. Many people who follow this club closely have interpreted that message as a potential goodbye. Now, it is important to be precise here. That interpretation is not confirmed. Martinelli has not officially announced a departure, but the tone of his message, combined with the club's need to move players on to make room for new signings, means this is a situation worth watching very closely. The reality for the club is that they have a deep squad, and significant financial investment has already been made over recent years. To bring in the kind of elite attackers that are now being discussed, Arsenal will almost certainly need to raise funds through sales. Martinelli breaking that 9-year-old record would be one way of doing exactly that. Riccardo Calafiori and the Real Madrid approach. Now let us turn to the most immediate and urgent defensive story of this window. The situation is that Real Madrid have made contact with Arsenal over Riccardo Calafiori. This is not speculation. Fabrizio Romano, one of the most reliable sources in world football transfer news, has confirmed that contact has been made. More significantly, the new Real Madrid manager José Mourinho has personally identified Calafiori as a key target for his squad this summer. That detail matters enormously. When a manager of Mourinho's stature personally pushes for a specific player, clubs take that seriously. Real Madrid take that seriously, and Arsenal need to take that seriously too. What makes Calafiori so valuable and why Arsenal will fight to keep him is his unique profile as a defender. He is capable of playing at left back and at centre back with genuine quality in both positions. But beyond that technical versatility, it is his unpredictable threat in the final third that truly sets him apart. Very few defenders in world football can do what Calafiori does going forward. Finding a replacement who can replicate both his quality and his versatility would, and these are the facts, be extraordinarily difficult. His time at Arsenal has not been without frustration. Injuries have disrupted his progress significantly. However, when fit, his value to Arteta's system is undeniable. The evidence suggests that Arteta does not want to lose him, and Arsenal's asking price will reflect that reluctance to sell. Now, here is an interesting angle. Roberto Carlos, the Real Madrid legend, was asked to rate current left-backs in a recent format, and he placed Real Madrid's own Alvaro Carreras above Calafiori. He even placed Carreras above Nuno Mendes of Paris Saint-Germain, who made the UEFA Champions League team of the season. That last detail is important. Nuno Mendes was officially recognised as one of the best players in the entire Champions League this season. Placing Carreras above him is a remarkable assessment. However, given Roberto Carlos's deep ties to Real Madrid as a club legend, that rating should be understood in its proper context. It tells us more about loyalty than it does about objective football analysis. What it does reveal, though, is that Real Madrid themselves may have concerns about Carreras. Mourinho has identified the left-back position as an area of weakness in his squad. That is why Calafiori is being targeted. The club paid €50 million to bring Carreras from Benfica last summer, and while he impressed initially, Mourinho clearly feels he needs something more. Arsenal also need to consider the cover situation carefully. Piero Hincapié and Miles Lewis-Skelly are both capable of covering the left-back and left centre-back roles. But as the facts clearly show, neither of them offers the kind of unpredictable, creative, final third threat that Calafiori brings. Losing him would leave a specific gap that would be extremely difficult to fill. The club were tracking Nathaniel Brown from Eintracht Frankfurt as a potential addition in that area. He would have been an interesting option given his profile. However, the situation has since moved quickly. The Germany international has now verbally agreed to join Bayern Munich, which means that avenue is closed. The bottom line is this: Arsenal are under real pressure to hold firm. Mourinho wants Calafiori personally. Real Madrid are a club with enormous financial power and global appeal. This is going to be one of the defining battles of Arsenal's summer. Sandro Tonali and the midfield question. Let us now move to the midfield. The situation here is one of admiration and ambition, balanced against the reality of what a deal would actually take to complete. Sandro Tonali is a player that Arsenal regard highly. He is considered one of Europe's top midfielders. The qualities that make him attractive are clear. He offers elite ball progression, tactical intelligence, genuine physicality, and an excellent passing range. Those are precisely the qualities that Mikel Arteta values in a central midfielder. The evidence suggests that Tonali would slot naturally alongside the players already operating in Arsenal's midfield. Declan Rice, Martin Odegaard and Miles Lewis-Skelly represent an already impressive group of midfielders. Adding Tonali to that unit would create another level of control and intensity in the centre of the pitch. However, the reality for the club is that this would not be a straightforward deal. Tonali is a key player for his current club. Any potential transfer would command a substantial fee. The combination of his importance to his current side and the kind of fee that would be demanded makes this genuinely difficult to pull off. It is important to be clear. At this stage, this remains a situation of admiration. Tonali is a player Arsenal like. Whether that admiration translates into a formal approach and a completed transfer is a separate question entirely, and one that has not yet been answered. From a purely analytical perspective, Tonali represents the kind of signing that could take Arsenal to the next level in midfield. Aggressive, technically gifted, capable of controlling matches. A player like that in Arteta's system is a genuinely exciting prospect. But exciting prospects and completed transfers are two very different things, and Arsenal supporters should keep that distinction clearly in mind. Julian Alvarez and Doué, the attack Arsenal need now. We arrive at arguably the most ambitious conversation of this entire transfer window, the attack. Paul Merson, the former Arsenal player and respected football pundit, has made his position very clear. He believes Arsenal must sign two specific players this summer to become the team that every other side fears. Those two players are Julian Alvarez and Doué. Merson said, and these are his exact words, that if Arsenal got those two players, he would dread to think who could stop them. That is a strong endorsement from someone who knows this club well. let us look at the situation honestly. Bukayo Saka remains Arsenal's guaranteed starter and their most consistent attacking threat. That is established. But the evidence from this season, including the Champions League final, suggests that the areas out wide on the left and through the centre have not delivered the level of clinical quality that elite European football demands. Merson's suggestion is not just about adding names to the squad, it is about addressing a specific structural problem in the attacking third. Now, here is where the analysis has to be precise and honest with you as a viewer. Julian Alvarez is at Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid are currently demanding his €500 million release clause. 500 million euros. That is not a negotiating position. That is not an opening bid designed to be talked down. That is one of the most significant financial barriers in world football. The reality for the club is that paying a release clause of that size is not something Arsenal can simply decide to do. This would require an extraordinary set of financial circumstances. Désiré Doué is at Paris Saint-Germain. The situation there is somewhat different in that Paris Saint-Germain have not yet publicly set a specific figure. However, the evidence suggests that any club trying to buy one of PSG's key young attacking talents will face a very high price. PSG are not a selling club by necessity. They sell when it suits them, and they will demand maximum value when they do. So what does Merson's recommendation actually tell us? It tells us that the gap Arsenal need to fill in attack is significant enough that only elite world-class talent will genuinely solve it. It tells us that the club's recruitment team, led by Andrea Berta, faces a summer of enormously complex and expensive conversations. Whether Alvarez and Doué actually arrive at Arsenal this summer is not confirmed. These are targets being discussed and admired. They are not completed transfers. That distinction is critical. The Champions League final, what it means for the summer ahead. Let us bring everything together now. Arsenal lost the Champions League final to Paris Saint-Germain on penalties. Gabriel Magalhães missed the decisive spot kick after producing one of the finest individual defensive performances of the entire tournament. That contrast between the quality of his performance and the cruelty of his miss captures something essential about where Arsenal currently stand. This is a squad that can defend magnificently at the highest level. This is a squad with genuine Champions League quality in midfield and at the back. But this is also a squad that, in the decisive moments, in the moments that require someone to step forward and win a match with a moment of individual brilliance in attack, is not yet consistently equipped to do so. Marquinhos knew exactly what Gabriel was going through in that moment after the final whistle. He walked straight to him. He embraced him. He told Gabriel that consoling him was his greatest victory of the night. Gabriel sent him a message the following day with his thanks. Marquinhos described that message, along with the support of his family, who were proud of what he had done, as the best recognition he received from that entire evening. That story is significant not just because it is a powerful human moment, but because it tells you something about the emotional weight that this Arsenal squad is now carrying into the summer. They came so close, they won the league, they reached a Champions League final, and they lost it in the cruelest possible way. That experience will either break a group or drive them forward with a hunger that cannot be manufactured. Based on everything the evidence suggests about Arteta's management and the culture he has built at this club, the answer is almost certainly the latter. Closing analysis, the summer ahead of Arsenal is going to be one of the most consequential in recent memory. 3 potential record transfer sales, Calafiori being chased by Real Madrid under Mourinho, Tonali being admired as a midfield target, Julian Alvarez and Désiré Doué identified as the kind of elite attacking additions that could make this team truly unstoppable, Gabriel Martinelli's future uncertain, Nathaniel Brown now heading to Bayern Munich. Every single one of these stories connects back to one central question. Can Arsenal build on what they have achieved and take the next step to becoming genuine, consistent Champions League winners? The evidence suggests that the structure is there. The foundation is there. The manager is there. What is now clear is that the attack needs strengthening, the squad needs some movement, and the decisions made in this transfer window will determine whether the progress of this season becomes a platform or a peak. That is the real story of Arsenal's summer, and this channel will be with you every single step of the way. If you have not subscribed yet, do it right now. Hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications, and make sure you never miss an analysis. This is Jessica, Arsenal Analyst, and we are just getting started.